Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, B-Farm, thinking right out here in the lab, in the wee out of the morning. The sun's coming up, so it's all good. I'm doing what I do for you. I got a nice lesson. I'm gonna piggyback off the last one. I got the paragraph or two that I didn't get in, but let's do what we do. Realism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message, and there's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life. It is a way of life. Through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, to get you to do just that. As the right thinker, you should have all the information you need to make knowing thyself possible for you. My job is to get it out there for you daily. Your job is to tune in daily and receive it and use it the way I do daily. Let's go. Know thyself is the question, and that's the goal for all right thinkers. So if you don't know, tune in. We'll help you out with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard that. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes or think that they know is dangerous. Just avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. Spiritually, I can awaken them with spirit. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow that. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know themselves. Into my eye. Be true. I wrapped up my last lesson with seeking purity through work and daily work and your daily activities. Let me wrap that up. Sorry, but I got to get this in because this ties into that lesson. So if you follow along, you will understand. Thus, while there seems to be what little justice in the world, it ain't getting much better. No deed, watch this, goes unseen by who? Maya. Who is what? The self, the all seeing soul, who what supports all human activity and the cosmos, universe. She's the structure. She keeps everything going. Conception. This self is what your very own innermost essence. Hello. Therefore, you are what? Essentially Maya. I am Maya. I live Maya. Okay? This principle that govern you that you can live by, you consider yourself Maya. Watch this. Now you are, what's that? You being Maya, that means you are what? The judge and the jury of your own actions. Don't nobody had the right to judge you but you. And that's how it should be. Why? Because that judgment day, that's how it's going to be anyway. So get used to watching, pay attention, and you judging you. Don't worry about somebody else. You should be watching you. Since you are, watch this, ultimately the controller of what? Your own actions. You control your IRE as well as what? The judge of them at Judgment Day. If you don't understand that, you pay attention. I'm trying to break it down so you will understand how to do what it is you should be doing and why. Reason and purpose should be your first understanding. And what? You can change your entire being learning the ways of Maya. Stop right there for a second. I did. Changed my life. I've been living Maya over 20 years. 30 years studying. So it didn't just happen. No, I put a lot of time in. Understand that. This is why you go to college. This is why you go to get these high degrees. Why? To give you the knowledge that you need to do the job that you plan to do. I asked God, Lord, if you wanted me to teach, why you take me through all this stuff? That's why I got you teaching now. Why? You had to go through that to do what you're doing now. Got the point, got the message. I'm good to go. Let's go. And if you change your life by living, and that's what happened, that's why I'm trying to get all my right thinkers. If you know you practice my yacht, you will change your life. That's all I got for you. That's all I got. That's all I want to give you. Nothing else. That's enough. Knowing thyself is the ticket to the next life. And anything after that is up to you. So understand that. And when you live the ways of Maya, learn Maya, perfect them, live them, and what you're doing, you're eradicating what? The negativity and the ignorance you have built up in this lifetime, as well as what? Your previous ones. Why? Because if it didn't get enlightened, it's coming back. Some people, you can tell by the way they live their life if they gotten that return trip. Yeah, yeah. And those who live a good life, you know they going one way. That's the beauty of it, and that's the purpose of it. Some will and some won't. Some do and some don't. But it's universal. Everybody has the same opportunity. So please understand that and write this up. Now, this can be accomplished by what? By following the teachings of right thinking philosophy outlined and before blindly or just not blindly moving into worldly actions, examine what you're getting involved with first. You should check out my concepts, my principles before you think I want to be right thinking. He looks cool. He taught the good stuff. I want to be like that. You should see what I do, what I represent, and why that's important. Now, the question is, ask yourself, do I need this relationship or this object, or is it just to what? Satisfy my ego? In life, decisions you have to make would be on a day-to-day basis. Or am I just satisfying what? My ego desires for what? Lust, pleasure, or greed, and anything that's negative that's against God. Remember, the ego has edged God out. When you on the ego, you got no godliness, you got all self. Watch this. Now, in this action I am about to do, going to help me simplify my life, or will it complicate it even more? Some people get to make that decision and make the bad one, and they wonder why the same thing keep happening. You keep making the wrong decision. Obviously, will it bring peace of mind? If you're living wrong, foul, you can't expect to have peace of mind. You worrying about what you're doing, coming back in to bite you. Men, fellas, side chick, that's your biggest bugaboo. You need to come clean with your personal lifestyle below the waist. Why? Because it's going to come up and bite you. It's going to bite you. It's wrong. That's the first thing. It's wrong. Morally, any way you want to look at it, it's just wrong. So you want to live right and wrong, thinking, you want everybody to think you're a good guy. It don't work that way. It's called faking it. Oh, I forget. Y'all ideas fake it till you make it. No, P-Funk means pure. I don't ever fake nothing. Not even friendships. All right, let me get this thing started. Where we at? Now, okay, now, watch this. If it is for what? Your ego, trust me, it is a waste of time. Why? I keep telling you, I experienced that because the ego cannot and will not be satisfied since it is an endless pit of desire. And if you fall victim to your ego, you chasing your tail. You're going around and around. Why? Because you're doing stuff that and you think is, and sometimes it could be profitable, but you're doing wrong things. And you want people to think you're doing the right thing. That's sound like religion. Moving on. The purpose, and this purpose for what introspection and self-awareness begins with the break of the cycle of action performed by who? Weak-willed and ignorant individuals, which will lead you to what? More pain and sorrow in life. You're going to suffer. As long as you continue to do the wrong thing, suffering, fetters are going to be filled, your life full of them. Moving on. Now let's get to the lesson. I'm sorry, I had a lot of time getting that little, but that's how much time I had to do that. Now let's talk about seek purity of heart through what? Living a life of simplicity. Simplify life. Simplify does that the Marines tell you. Take off the nonsense and deal with the essentials, and you'll be fine. So let's talk about this. Now watch this. This is an ancient Egyptian proverb. I got to get this one. I've been dying to get to this. Right thinkers. When opulence and extravagance are the necessity instead of righteousness and truth, our society will be governed by what? Greed and injustice. This is an ancient Egyptian proverb 5,000 years ago. Understand that. Now, hearing that, is that not what we're living in right now? I'm moving on. I'm not. I had a whole bunch of things. I took my time with the other lesson. I'm gonna let that one go. But this was said over 5,000 years ago. And then ancient times, anybody who worked in the justice system had to pass the school of Maya. Why? In order for you to be judged, in order for you to judge, you should be willing to be judged. Simple as that. As a Mason, we had a creed. How do I know you? Prove who I am and willing to be tried, never denied, and be tried again. That means I'm standing firm on what I am and who I am. Understand that. Knowing thyself is the same commitment to being your best self. So understand that. But right now, the powers that be is in charge. This is where we are. They are greedy and they're very unjust. We got a guy running for president. That's a criminal. That's really ancient times that would never happen. We wouldn't even have that problem. But let's get to the lesson. The key to reducing your worldly entanglements, meaning all this nonsense and negative karma impressions, which will what lead to future pain, and we know reincarnation. I pointing over that shoulder. My old man lived an egoistic life all his life. So he got no kid coming. I know he didn't go that way. He went to the lab. Okay, so his spirit is back out here somewhere. Just conceptually. Why? Because if the spirit don't get enlightened, it's not going that way. It's going that way. That's why. And you can tell by the way somebody lived their life which way they going. So, oh, I see him on the other side. Hmm, let's move on. I ain't going there. But you living a life of unrighteousness will only lead to pain, suffering, and eventually reincarnation. The idea is to reduce what? Your egoistic desires of your mind by what? Thinking right, holding yourself accountable, spiritual discipline, studying spiritual truths, living by them. Those are all the things that you control. One important way to accomplish this is to what? Simplify one's life. What that mean? This implies reducing one's karmic entanglements and worries which constantly agitate the mind. Your daily activities is what's going to be what you're dealing with. And if you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, you ain't simplifying. Cut out the nonsense. Trim off some of the fat. Why? Unnecessary stuff. Just cut it out. That's all. Superfluities, whatever you want to call it. But your bad habits, we need to work on them. A lot of people say, well, instead of working on the bad habit, when they realize it's a bad habit, they make excuses for the bad habit and they keep allowing them to continue on doing what they're doing in their mind. Remember, it's inside your mind. It's all mental. Watch this. And we are indoctrinated into what? Believing that material wealth brings happiness. So much so that what? Having achieved a measure of success according to social standards, you walk around all puffed up, all swole. Yeah, yeah. We convince ourselves that what? We're happy. If you got to convince yourself you're happy, you're not. Okay? Sometimes, even if it means an early grave due to what? Overwork and increased stress, attempting to support luxuries which are not needed or pursuing ideas which are wrong for you. You don't know that until you. Well, I thought, everything thought. That's a past tense for I messed up. Well, I didn't know. Same thing. When you don't know, you probably gonna mess up. So they go hand in hand. But understand what you're doing. Reason and purpose. If there's a reason for what you're doing and the purpose is good, you can stand on that. If you do something that's wrong and you get caught, what you stand on? That's why I didn't have to repeat that same performance of being a drug dealer. After the first time, done, moving on. That's part of my life. Kill it, pack it up, move on. It's okay. If you can't walk away from a bad thing that's not good for you, you're going to have more problems. That's the problem causer. Why? If you continue to do the same thing that's bad, you can continue to get the same result. Watch this. Where we at? Now, many who may have the material wealth, many of us who have material wealth, why, are as hypnotized by what the idea, what they must pursue it. And once achieved, it will yield the long sought after happiness. If I get rich and famous, I'm gonna be happy. Mm, we know that ain't true. Despite the disappointments and the frustrations, we continue to what? Pursue our dreams, not realizing that material wealth does not automatically produce happiness. Further, if those who have achieved the riches, and we know a lot of them are happy, it is not because of what? The riches, but due to much deeper psychological in, in, integration that has occurred, meaning they took care of themselves mentally, so they're capable of handling themselves even with the fortune and fame. They're happy. Those are the kind of people how when they reach there, they make it in the sport, but you don't hear about them. Why? They live on their own lane, so to speak. When I'm doing what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. Outside that, you don't need to know nothing about me, period. I don't bring my personal life to my lessons. These are lessons I'm teaching. It nothing to do with me personally. Everything I talk about is about me, but you're not gonna be in my personal life. That's what I mean. I can teach from personal lessons, experiences. Now, I'm not bringing it to my household. I'm not bringing it to my. No, you got to be crazy. I'm not. Moving on. Let's go. And also, let me wrap this up. Also, just as the presence of material wealth does not necessarily constitute prosperity, mental peace, and happiness. Watch this. In the same way, the lack of material wealth does not necessarily constitute adversity, mental agitation, or unhappiness or failure. No, meaning if I'm not rich and famous, that ain't the end of the world. Some of us think I'm a failure. Like if you consider yourself a failure, you set yourself up for failure. Why? Because it's all about you. How much time I got? So one more paragraph for you. Let me get this in right quick. A life of simplicity does not mean giving up all wealth and going to live off in the resident off the reservation of the land. It means what? Living according to what? Your necessities of life and not hoarding possessions as source of happiness. Things. My man had toys. When he died, everybody got his toys. Tutankhamun had a bunch of toys. We all got his toys. So if you're not gonna have no toys for me, I don't do toys. That's the difference. Okay. Now, due to some family obligation, what's this? Now, you hoarding and all this stuff, but due to some family obligation, it means not indulging in what? Egoism or jealousy by what? Comparing oneself to what? Others and trying to emulate their success or try to look good in their eyes. I'm not into impressing man. God, yes, man. Nope. Why? I'm you think you can do for me. That's why. So if you thinking making Charlie think you somebody, make you somebody, no, it don't. Look, it don't. Charlie's opinion don't mean jack. Understand that. The divine, here you go, the divine plan has what? A prescribed a specific understanding that you have been given all the necessary tools to what? To accomplish the goals of your life. They say we got everything we need. God gave us everything we need. It's up to us to figure it out. Life is God's gift to us. What we do with it is our gift to Him. Some people don't understand that, but I love that phrase. Why? Because it makes a lot of sense. That's why I live right. So therefore, while continuing to strive for better conditions in life, and that's what it's all about, the underlying understanding should be that if riches are to come, it is to be by the will of the divine. I ain't got a problem with that. But if you're a preacher and you're a mega preacher and you still in line in the name of the Lord, you're getting rich. And that ain't divine riches, okay? Again, that's hustle riches. I know the difference between the two. Some of us don't, but yeah, I know what you're doing. So likewise, if adversities come, watch this. It is for what? The same reason. Chin check. I say chin check, meaning all y'all believers in God, all y'all, every time something happened to you, you fall apart, you lose your cool, you freak out. If you are a true servant of God, you don't panic in adverse situations. You don't lose your cool. You don't lose your faith. You don't freak out. Why? You're supposed to be in a place. And watch this. Both adversities and prosperities, watch this, come to a person when, according to their karmic history, as fruits of past action. Again, the soul still has this agenda. Remember, if I didn't get to go home, the next person to get my spirit gonna have that red Cadillac on their mind. Why? 'Cause that's all mine. I keep using that as an example because it's a fact. I want you to understand it. I'm an example. I'm no different than you, just like you. Therefore, watch this. Let me wrap it up for you. I appreciate you. In order to promote positive situations in the future, all you need to do is what? Concentrate, think right on correct actions in what? The present, the now, which are guided by what? The current attitude and understanding. Simplicity means what? Living within one's means and watching over the minds and desires for the pleasures and the luxuries that are not necessary. Don't let the ego control you. Put the ego in submission. Let it work for you. Don't let it work you. That's what they're trying to tell you. So accepting whatever comes as a part of the divine plan. That's understandable. Watch this. Even while striving to better oneself in this way, feelings of detachment, contentment, and peace can what? Can be developed even while you're engaged in actions which are necessary in life. Your normal daily life, you can do all the things you need to do and do just that. Acclimate yourself and accommodate yourself by what? Doing the right thing all the time, and you'll be fine. I do. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Oh, I got more.